Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. This is Orphan Last, and today I'm going to do another attempt to teach you guys how to rig the eye. When I was recording the original version of this video, I was trying to get through the entire animation series, cutout 2D cutout animation rigged series. I wanted to get through all of that in one weekend. I stayed up until 4 a.m. and I still didn't meet that deadline. It's a deadline that I set for myself, and the goal was to just make sure that I don't leave people hanging, that I have the entire series out there that everyone can be able to start working on a cutout animation start to finish, rather than just release one video a week and have people be like, okay, what do I do next? What do I do next? And possibly go to other sources, of course, to try to find out how to do it. So what my plan is, while I'm recording this, my plan is to actually delete that video, which is on YouTube. It's seen as a faux pas, I guess. It's not something that people normally do to delete a video. But I watched my eye rigging tutorial, and it was all over the place. And I don't feel as though it is a professional product. I personally would not follow a tutorial like that. And so, with that having been said, I'm going to be making this video that shows a much more professional way to rig the eye. It's the same technique, but without all the other things where I have technical issues and stuff like that. So ultimately, this is what we've made so far. Okay, assuming that you haven't seen my other eye rigging tutorial. And so the goal is to make it look like that. Okay, and so basically what I can do is I can go and find my one of my eyeballs. Okay, and that's the eyeball right there. And the goal is so that I can set my edit tool to position, and I should be able to just move this eyeball around, and it won't extrude past the actual eyelids. And so that's the goal. Let me go ahead and delete that keyframe. That's something that the edit tool does. It creates little keys on each frame, on variously different frames. So let me go ahead and get ready to make this tutorial real quick here. Okay, so I've turned preview mode off because really right now there's no reason to do it. Now here's something that I didn't really cover in the original video that I tried to make about this. The first thing that you need to do is you need to set the center of the eyes. Okay, so let me make sure that I can. Okay, so I click on. Let's see. If I click on this, okay, so this says his left eye. So his left in this case would be our right. And so what you do is you click here and select center when you have the edit tool selected. Click here, select center, and then you put it in the center of that of the eyeball. Okay, and then you select your other iris or pupil, whatever you want to call it, and you make sure center is selected, and you put it in the center here. Okay, I've already created my centers, so I don't have to really worry about that at all. The next step is go into animation, okay, and then go into the effects schematic. Now, if it says stage schematic, okay, that's fine. Just go down to the lower right-hand corner and click on it once, and it'll say effects schematic. And you'll see something like this, okay? And with the arrow keys, you might have to navigate, and with the scroller, it'll get you zoomed in and zoomed out. Now, all these right here represent all the variously different columns that I've created. But I only need the eyelids, and I only need to have the pupils, okay? Or in my case, I call them irises. His left iris, his left eyelids. And then I have, in this little area right here, his eyelid, and then his right iris. All right, so for the first thing that we need to do is we need to create a matte, and that will make it so that well, I'll show you. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with his left. Okay, so we have his eyeball, his iris here, and we go ahead and we right-click right here, insert effects, matte, and matte in. Okay, and if we zoom in, we'll get a better look at what we're doing. We can sometimes, depending on what we do here, we can actually have a little picture of what's on the column. Okay, with these yellow nodes here. For example, if I click on this little arrow here so that it points up, or triangle, when I get the triangle to point up, I can see a little preview of what's in it. Now the matte, okay? Now we plug in the iris into the source, and then the source, basically the matte itself, what it's plugging into is it's plugging into the X sheet. And then from there, if I can ever reach the bottom, that'd be great. And from the X sheet, basically what happens is it plugs into the output. Okay, so here's the X sheet output. All right, and let me just go ahead and get right to it really quick here. All right, this is for some reason the fastest method for me to do it. Okay, so the next step, okay, we need to make sure that the eyelid, okay, this is his left eye and his left eyelid. Okay, so if I plug this into the matte, sometimes it gets rid of this line that goes down to the X sheet. You need to make sure that this still goes to the X sheet. Okay, and once we do that, if we turn on the preview mode, this is what it looks like. Okay, but the problem is that we now have this situation where like you can still see the blue of his eye in there. Like let me go ahead and select his eye here, and let me select position and just move the position. You can see the eye still like not being masked off by this brown line here, and we don't want that. Okay, we want to be able to, we want the brown strokes to basically mask off the eyelid or the iris or whatever you want to call it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to right click here, insert effects, I think it's Toons Level, and then Palette Filter right there. Okay, and as you can see inside of the preview mode, it's just gone ahead and just pretty much made it invisible. And the reason for that is because if I double click on this new filter, this palette filter, 1, 2, 3 color indexes, it means like if I bring up my level palette here, color 0, color 1, color 2, color 3, color 4. Okay, so this is skin line. Okay, that's what we want here. Okay, so let me go back into the animation tab. Skin line, I believe, is number 2. So if I press 2, all of a sudden it works. Let me press Control Z. Okay, real quick here. Actually, Control Y. You get the idea. Because before, if I plug this just straight into the matte, and then delete this palette, or delete the line that goes into the palette filter, you can see the iris going through the brown. And so if I delete this line here, have it go into the source, then have it go into the matte, you can see it no longer does that. I can also furthermore set more details to it. So this is lines and areas of this color. Okay, I don't really have any areas that associate to this color, so I'm going to set it to lines, and for some reason it thickens out the line around here a little bit better, and I like that a little bit better. I mean, there's a little bit of anti-aliasing sort of thing going on here that I don't really like too much, but that's fine. Anyways, so just apply that to the other eye and you'll be good. Please like, share, and subscribe.